And we're live.
What's up? What's up? How you doing?
So, for people that don't know your band, how would you describe your band?
MX the American. Well, we're I would say alternative metal band. Uh, Band's been out. If you want me to give a little explanation of the band, been out since 1982. Started kind of more into kind of I would say Priest Ozzius kind of style. We kind of stay current with the times. Now our style would be more in alternative metal. Um, where it's got like metal, it's got some R&B, it's got some hip hop with it also, man. But it's more in the heavy metal type range. Um, we started in '82, put out our first album in '86 called Made in the USA. Put out our second album in '88. It was called Burn. Put out our third. We moved to Hollywood then for a long time and came back. '92, we put out our third album, Goeth for What Thou Knoweth. In '96, we put out our fourth album called Into the Depths. In 1998, we put out I'm sorry, in '96 we put out '92. Let me start that back over. '86 we put out Made in the USA. '88 we put out Burn. In '92 we put out Goeth for What Thou Knoweth. In '94 we put out Into the Depths. In '96 we put out Contagious, which was an acoustic album that we did. We got 12 songs on that, 12 or 13. And then in '98 we did a different revamp, and we did kind of an industrial kind of style, and we did with Dan Marshall, me, Detlef, and Dan Marshall. Detlef's our drummer, and it was kind of I would say kind of in the Nine Inch Nails kind of style, but it's more an industrial. Then we revamped and we came up with got Melvin in the band. We did this project now with some hip hop R&B in there and the metal, and we did a working title on some songs that we were working on called Gone Snipe Hunting around 2001. And then we toured around a bunch then during the early 2000s right there. Then we kind of took a break for a while. My son got killed in a car, messed me up really bad, threw me into depression and stuff, and started finally found a way. You know, a bunch of us had some different relationship problems and stuff at that time, so we decided just to kind of hold up for a little bit. Then I got Dutlip on me again, my drummer, man. You know, we need to get this going. We need to keep it going, keep it going. So we did. And we actually altered the name. We were having problems with the name also was a big thing. Other people using jumping on the MX because the internet's out. Anybody could jump on that name. The two letters, M being 1,000 and Roman numerals, X being 10. It's binary. It means everything. Everything's in a sequence of ones and zeros. Anybody that logged in with that name could get it. It's military. It's under everything that you can imagine. It's in under that.
Speaking
And
about the
so
military,
we say again.
sorry, speaking about the military, most of your founders are in the military or was?
Yeah, yes. Melvin Davis. He's in the Army, and I was in the Navy. And so that's why we ended up changing to MX the American because we are veterans. We're all American. It made everything easier to find of ours through on the internet and, through social media and stuff. And we ended up taking that album that we had that with the working title, and we came up with our album, our self-titled album with the flag face on it.
Yeah.
And we put that out in 2000 in 2020. And then later on that year, we put out 10,000 Elephants, and we had changed the name in 2018 to MX the American. So after we did that, we got a actual deal with Curtain Call Records about a year ago, and we were working on an album called Appalachia Voodoo Factory, which is our ninth album, and we just put it out July 4th. And that album's doing really good right now. We're about to release the second single off of that.
From your first album to now, you see self growth.
Oh yes, a lot. I mean, everything now is like before you had to find a book to find wherever to be able to send somebody or find an address to send somebody in the industry something or try to find an address or run into people. Now, I'm not saying it's easier, but now everything's kind of condensed down to where you've got all these different download platforms and stuff that you can be on. You've got all these different uh, the industry Bible and stuff like that that you can get. There's all kinds of stuff via the internet where you can find different names, different people in the industry to be able to send stuff to for deals and stuff like that, and be able to get your stuff up on social media to where you can download and stuff like that. But yes, we've got a big fan base now. All the people that we had, we've got a lot of those old followers, fans, and along with new because we've been out 39 years now. And we've got people that weren't even born then that are loving our first stuff, and people that are older loving even our new stuff. So, our old stuff and new stuff. So, yes, we're growing a lot, man. We've got, I don't know, we're around 50 something thousand followers on Facebook. We
Pretty
got
good.
2 videos that we just put out this year. One was in December. It was Coming Home off the Appalachian Voodoo Factory album. It just hit over 300,000 yesterday. And the mountain that's on there, it's about 200 and something thousand likes on that right now. So we're growing really. I mean, we've got a lot of people behind us, and we just did the Blue Ridge Rock Festival along with Metal in the Mountains, and it kind of helped explode us even more, man. And Curtain Call's working hard with us also, man. I'm telling you, so things are really, really coming around a lot.
Are you thinking about playing festivals again next year?
Oh yes, we're right now we're talking with John up at Curtain Call about maybe doing like a Spring Fest up in Indiana. We're thinking about up in Michigan, doing a couple of shows, Pennsylvania, probably over in Kentucky. I do a metal fest there. We've got a festival that's supposed to happen down at Bike Week in Daytona that we're talking about doing coming up. Either it's going to probably be this summer. Blue Ridge Rock Festival again. Metal in the Mountains, we're going to be on that again in Pipestone, West Virginia. There's a lot of things up and coming. As long as COVID or something drastic don't keep happening to us, hey, we're going to be there. So we're definitely in for in all the way.
So, what was the idea of the masks in general?
Well, we did a comic book series back in the '90s, in the early '90s, man, and we toured. We played all around different comic conventions and stuff, from Los Angeles to Texas, Dallas, Atlanta, Dragon Con, different stuff, and we did the characters that were in the comic, and we had made masks and stuff like that, and we were doing that when we were doing the comic conventions, but not. We used some of it on stage, like the character that we had created, but we didn't take it to the extent as now. Now it's like we, had been talking about doing it. And when we came back with the 2018 thing, we wanted to come back full fledged. And, we started doing that. As soon as we did it and posted a picture, boom, it started really accelerating. I mean, there's a lot of big bands out there that do the mask thing. And you would think that people may be a little numb to that some now, but no. And plus, when we jumped out at first, we were doing them, we had white masks, and it kind of leaves the innocence and unknown of who is who in the band. There you go, right there, man.
Yeah,
Man, we use
exactly.
those right there. And when there's seven or eight of us up on stage, it looks impressive, man. I mean, when you walk out there and everybody's like, whoa, man. And we start throwing down, man. I mean, we'll flip them off later because most of the time, not always, but part of the time, because they do get very hot, and it's like once they get into it, slinging our heads, it's hard to keep them on anyway. But we try to keep them on as long as possible. But yes, those things right there really, really kind of up the whole ante, man. People love those, man, and we like it. So hey, if it's working, don't try to fix it. If it ain't broke.
So, what do you want to leave as your legacy?
that we got out here and done as much as we can to make people happy and ourselves at the same time. We wrote where our legacy of a lot of good albums, a lot of good music for everybody, and people knowing that we worked hard with them also. Different bands, we try to rework together with bands. We're not against that into that competition thing right there. If a band wants to be that way, they're going to have to find a different way because we're here to help promote each other. It's supposed to be a brotherhood and stuff and a sisterhood, and that's what we're here. It's I want to be known as the guy that got out there and supported everybody, and in return, they supported us. And so our legacy is to leave a lot of good music, and hopefully one day, the world will be all MX the American. No.
Hmm. So, do you have any advice for musicians coming up now, since you've been doing this for almost 40 years?
God, get ready. Because it's a long road to hoe, man. It's the advice is get up early every morning. If you can, try not to get too screwed up into where your schedule's all messed up and you're not, you got to put everything you can into it. I mean, more than what you can. I mean, you got to get up every morning early. You got to start working your social media stuff. You've got to try to stay in shape at the same time that you're writing songs. You've got to get in the studio and record as much stuff as you can. But don't sit around and just say, well, that sounds okay. Do your best at it. Never want to regret anything that you do. So do everything to your best ability and put out as much music as you can. But the thing about it is, when you get a deal, if you ever get a deal, which as long as you keep striving, you will get people that's going to approach you and stuff. You got to give to get a lot of times. Don't give away your stuff. But the thing is, you can have 100% of nothing, or you can have 10% of a lot. It's according to what your deal is, and make sure that you don't sit there and kill it before it gets going. That's what happens with a lot of bands and stuff. It's happened with us. It's happened with everybody. We're not, uh, you know, we play humans on this planet, so it's like we're the same as most people, man. The biggest thing is getting up every day and going hard at it. And when you get with a label, don't just think that label's going to take care of you and the whole time. I'm not saying they won't take care of you, but it's not just them. That's when it just gets started for a band. You got to then get out there and just start kick butt even harder, man. Because the only way to get out there and get exposure is to jump out there and do it. That's the biggest thing. Do as many shows as you can, but the biggest thing is whatever you do, be the best that you can at it.
Amen to that. So, who got you into music?
That's a good question there. I was raised a lot when I was younger. I was born in Louisville, Kentucky, but I was raised a lot in Macon, Georgia. And it was home of the Allman Brothers, Capricorn Records, Marshall Tucker, Grinder Switch, Wet Willie, White Witch. I mean, just everybody. Billy Thorpe, Children of the Sun. Everything came out of there. And I went to a children's home when I was 15, and my house parent was Greg Allman's lawyer for the Allman Brothers, and he was in a lot of trouble back then, a lot of times. And I was around them a lot. We used to do canoeing with Chuck Lavelle, and JMO worked for my stepdad as a mechanic, and a lot of these guys up and coming, and I was around a lot of music then. The pop festival in 1970 happened, had Jimi Hendrix there. I was 12 at that time, but it was in our neighborhood. 400,000 people showed up over a 4th of July and July 4th weekend in 1970, and it changed me. That right there, and then going to that children's home and being around the Allman Brothers a lot and different other musicians from Capricorn, it got me really into music a lot heavier. Plus, me being from the South is a lot of soul and R&B and stuff. And James Brown, Otis Redding's sons. I'm good friends with them. We did our first recording project with them at Otis Redding's house. You know, he was dead, but his sons, Little O and Dexter and Mark Lockett, their cousin, they were around there all the time. So, well, I got to working with them and stuff, and it got me. And then I went in the military, and there's a lot of players in the military, man, and different players. You know, we'd have our acoustic guitars, and then we ended up getting electrics, and we'd have put a band together when we was in the service, and that being around the music a lot before the service, and then getting around people from all around the world and learning different stuff. That's really what got me to where by the time I got out of the service, I was off the chain. I had to have my own band going because I had two bands in the service also. And we ended up, as actually a friend of mine that's on here all the time named Pat Kozad. We had a band called Torque in the Navy. And then after we got out and stuff, like I said, I ended up forming MX at that time in '82, and never looked back, man.
Is there any per se artist that you want to work with that you haven't yet?
Oh, there's a lot, man. That's hard to say any individual one. I mean, there's a lot. I mean, we have actually been around and played with a lot of different bands. I mean, from Motorhead, Megadeth, Suicidal Tendencies. And actually, Megadeth was just again at the Blue Ridge Rock Festival when we did that. Yeah, and there's a lot of great bands. I mean, there's a lot of even bands, I would say, you know, like the Devil Wears Prada or the band, I would say Silver Sun Pickups. I love them right there. They're mellower, but then the other bands are heavier, and I just like a lot of different bands. There's a lot of bands out there, man. It's hard to just pick one, but I mean, I just love working with bands in general. Like today, I just sat here and did all kinds of listening to different videos of different bands and doing comments and stuff in them because I just love different music, man, you know?
So in the up and coming scene, because I know you were on the same festivals, is there any one particular that stood out to you?
Well, Metal in the Mountains we just did and Blue Ridge Rock Festival, and they were both phenomenal, man. I mean, Metal in the Mountains wasn't quite as big, but it was a lot more close knit. Um, you know, all the people, it was more of a family kind of thing because a lot of the bands were on curtain call, and not every band, but a lot of them were. And it was a more of a kind of a brotherhood, sisterhood thing, even though, I mean, the other one was too, but it was so huge, it's hard to get close to a lot of people. But we did hook up with a lot of people there. I mean, Dying Oath. I mean, we hooked up with them there, and we both played Metal in the Mountains, and we played Blue Ridge. You know, there's a lot of different bands, man, that we hooked up with. I mean, they had their worst day at Blue Ridge and the best day of their life at Blue Ridge, and so did we. It was the first day was horrible, but the time by the time we played, things were all together, and boom, we hit the stage, and we were running after that, man, and it just got better and better and better. But then, like I say, Metal in the Mountains, a lot more close knit, you know, a lot more hands on with each person, and people people that are your Facebook friends. Actually, you became friends with them, you know, and real friends, not just on Facebook or social media. There's a lot of bands, you know, Transcendence was there, Haymaker was there. I mean, Seasons was there. I mean, there are so many different bands that were there. It was great, man. You know, uh, Nova Omega. I mean, there was a ton of different bands there. I mean, then you had the Butcher Babies there and stuff. I mean, there was a lot of big bands. Byzantine, they kicked butt there, man, and that was great hooking up with them because those guys slam it, man. I mean, they did an awesome show. You know, Max Cavalera, he was there. But so we got to really get kind of closer with a lot of the bigger bands also, with a lot of the bands that, like I say, that we deal with, you know, every day and stuff. So that was more of a close knit family thing, which we really loved, and I'm really looking forward to doing it again. And but then Blue Ridge, man, the crowds were so huge, man. I mean, we were across the field, across a lake. This property was so gargantuous, but whenever a band would stop, the song would stop playing, the crowds would be like, ah! And I mean, it was so big, it would almost lift you up in your chair, man, across the field, man.
Yeah.
That was that powerful, man. I mean, it was huge. It'd make the hair stand up on your arms, man. I love that. That's energy, man. That is so much energy because we were burnt when we ran up on stage. We were fried. Been up 2 days trying to get everything together to do it. My truck had just got hit. My brother had found out he had COVID just an hour before this happened. And by the time when we ran out there and this place was packed, there was no tired. We were electric, man. Then you know what I mean? You're almost like superhuman, man, running out there, man. I don't say that as in a bragging way. It's just that kind of intensity. If you've never been around that, which there's not a lot of festivals that big, so that's definitely a once in a lifetime thing for at least this year. We're planning on doing it again next year.
So have you ever left something very important when you went on tour?
Left something?
Yes, like passport, keys. Like,
Oh
did
my
you ever
God,
leave
man!
something that you started?
Equipment, man. Hell, even equipment, man. We've left equipment, man. One time, it ain't funny, but one time, man, we left some of my drummer's drum equipment, and we were hundreds of miles away, man. And my mom, I can't believe she stepped up to the plate and she drove that all the way to us and got there. And we're setting it up and we're into the first song as soon as we set the snare on and stuff. I mean, that's just one incident, but we've left different stuff. But that right there was a very memorable moment right there. I mean, my mom goes, I'll bring it. You know, I'm thinking, wow, that was just so cool, you know. But that was a long way. So there was no complaining. She went, got it, and was there like a trooper, man. You know, we was in Indianapolis playing then, and she's down in Macon, Georgia.
Wow.
Yeah, see what I'm talking about?
Yeah, she's a trooper.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
Did you have any voice, I mean, any lessons growing up? Like guitar, vocal?
Well, not to say much. I mean, just besides jamming with people, watching, learning, mimicking. I mean, I guess I took chorus when I was in. I don't guess I did numerous years in school when I was in. I would say grammar school and definitely high school. We did chorus and stuff like that, but a lot of times that was kind of like a study hall. So, but I learned some piano and stuff like that because there was a guy in there that could play piano pretty good. Um, just watching a lot of bigger bands, like I said, from Capricorn and stuff like that. But when I was in the first grade, I sang to the whole school, man, in chorus, singing the drummer boy to the whole school, and that right there's how I started, first grade, man, doing that.
Do you get nervous on stage still?
I can't say no, but the biggest part is when you're in charge of so much stuff, or you got everybody looking at you for everything. Like your mind is so flurried up, making sure that everybody is going to be there at that moment, or nothing, no issue is going to happen before we step. You know, by the time we step on stage, I don't have time to really think about butterflies and stuff so much because you're so already about to come to pieces, so nervous because dude, I'm a worry wart. Man, it's always trying. You got to keep things. You make sure the equipment's all working. Make sure all the stuff's there. Make sure this person's happy. Make sure that person's happy. Everybody's going to play the part or hit the part right. Or the stage manager's going to do whatever, and you're always thinking about how the monitor guy's going to do, and is this going to be on or that going to be on. But so I would say not. I mean, yes, I've had butterflies. If you say you haven't, you're lying. I don't care who you are. It happens. Or you got to pee like hell right before you're able to step on the stage. You know, I mean, you gotta definitely, it happens to everybody, but I would say more so now. I'm so engrossed in making it happen that I would say the nervousness probably happens more after the fact almost when I'm going, oh God, you know, man, it went off good, man, this time, or it's our Spinal Tap gig, whichever way, you know.
Your first concert, were you in awe?
Yeah. Oh yeah. First concert, I would have to say yeah, because it was big. I mean, it was huge. You know what I mean? There was a lot of to me at that time, it was a lot of people, you know, and it's like, well, let's put it this way. The first concert I was at that pop festival in Byron, Georgia, there when I was 12. 400,000 people. I mean, from Hendrix to Joplin to, you can look it up online. Look it up. It's called the Second Atlanta International Pop Festival. It's in Byron, Georgia, when it happened July 4th weekend of 1970. And that Allman Brothers, Sly and the Family Stone, Procol Harum. I mean, it had everybody you can imagine that thing. And yo, yeah, we were in awe because I mean, 400,000 people merged upon your neighborhood, and you've never even. I mean, you live in a little neighborhood to where parents are telling you, if I ever see you smoking pot, we're gonna kill you on drugs and stuff. And next thing you know, everybody shows up and they're wiped out and naked and jumping off of bridges and out of pecan trees and stuff. I mean, yeah, I was in awe. It never leaves me today, man. It's still one of my biggest things. And like Blue Ridge was, it was kind of like that to an extent, but not that freely open. You know what I mean?
So that was your first concert ever?
Oh yeah, I was 12. I would say that would be my first one. I think I went to like a Hank Snow one or something like that, maybe right before that. That's a country one because my parents were really into country music a lot.
Yeah.
And so that and Johnny Cash coming to town and stuff, but that was like around probably 68, 69, right in there. I went to that, you know, had just saw, I think, the Hank Williams movie on TV, you know, the life and times of them. And then all of a sudden that happens, man. And it's like, whoa, you know, and then Capricorn was pretty big at, you know, at that time also. And I'm around a lot of different musicians, but you know, I wasn't starstruck or nothing like that because these were like everyday guys that were around you every day. So you didn't look at it like, I mean, not, today I look on it and I go, wow. And people, when they talk to people about it, they go, wow, you was around here. And then I'm not putting those guys down. They were great musicians and stuff. But when you're there every day with somebody and you're listening to that, it's not like it was kind of a normal thing, you know what I mean? More so than something that was more outstanding. Now I listen back to a lot of that stuff and I pinch myself because I believe that just thinking that I was there then, you know.
If you could pick your own super group, who would it be? And
Whew, that's a tough one right there. I like all the guys I have right now.
no, I'm saying a super group, meaning you can make your own super group.
Yeah, I got you. Well, you know, there's a lot. I would probably pick a lot of the I would say rising star bands, people from those, because I just see a lot more. Like I like Mindy Jackson from Dying Oath. I like Josh from there. I like the singer from I mean, I like a couple of some of the guys in Pigweed. They got some killer energy, man. Um, I mean, there's so many different ones, man. I mean, Nestor Idler from Nova Omega. I mean, his guitar players. I mean, it's hard to pick just an individual, man, because there are so many different bands. I mean, even the guys from 434, I mean, I love them. You know what I mean? There's different stuff that all these guys do. I'd have to pick 20 different super groups probably,
Okay.
you know?
So do you want to promote anything at this time?
Yes, I would like to introduce our band members, man. We got Naughty Styles, who is a lead vocalist with us, and she is killer. We got Melvin Melly D. Davis, that you know,
Yep.
lead vocalist also. He's awesome too. He's been with us for a lot of years. Got Detlef Von Calvin, who's been the drummer for MX American since probably about 30 years right now. Got Jeff Bender, who's the bassist now. I used to be the bassist, but we brought Jeff in, and Jeff is an awesome man. He's a lot of energy. And then we got Ray Godman, who is an awesome killer guitar player that we have, man. All those guys right there. Um, I would say look forward to our new video that's being done right now. It's called Enemy. It's going to be coming out here within the next couple of weeks. Look for the advertisements for that in about a week here, and I'll have a feeler for that. Um, Nova Omega's got a killer video about to come out. Their first video, man. I think I went down and done a cameo in that about a week or so ago when they were filming down in South Carolina. You can find all of our stuff on every digital platform just about out there. And if you don't, hit me on Rad Ray Terrell or MX The American Band and let me know which one it's not on, and we'll make sure it gets on there. You can find us on that, or go to mxtheamericanepk.com and you can see magazine reviews from us, uh, all the different photos and stuff from the festivals we just played, all the different members, things like that, and all of our social media sites, mxtheamericanepk.com. You go on that. And I want to, Mr. Rosenthal, you are one of our biggest fans and one of our, I mean, a guy for this industry right here. If we just had just a few more people like you, I mean, there are some. I mean, there's some different ones, but dude, you really stand out, man, in this business by supporting all of the bands out here. Because I'm telling you, everywhere I'm looking, I'm seeing you, you're seeing us, but I see you on everybody's stuff, man, looking at it. And we really, really love that, man, about you, man. I mean, you know, you can't find a much more inspired person, and that helps inspire us that you like the bands and you spend so much different time, and mostly a lot of your time, I would say probably all of your time, promoting bands, and we love that, man.
Thank you.
Oh
That
yeah,
means, that really means a lot.
it means a lot to us, man. It definitely does.
I know in about 10 minutes you have another prior engagement, so I'm going to let you go. And once this is up in all the platforms, I will let you know.
I appreciate it very much, man. Look
And
forward to being on here again.
I'll be tuning into the program you're going to be on in 10 minutes.
Okay, sounds good, man.
I will talk to you soon, sir.
All the fans out there, thank you very much. Without you guys, we're all nothing, okay? And one other thing is we support depression awareness and suicide prevention. You can always contact us at any time because we definitely stand behind that and the veterans and stuff like that, and individuals that are not veterans. We stand behind that, and we want to let you know that we're here.
Thank you and have a great day.
You too, brother.